All right, and welcome back to another episode of the Laces Out podcast. This is week 12. We missed last week due to my son being born. So, yeah, I guess I can say that's a decent excuse. On the call with me, we have Menace. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Waterboy, he might tune in, middle of the pod, or might not be able to make it at all. I know Bunk will not be able to make it this week, so hopefully we'll get them back in week 13. But anyway, let's talk a little bit. Even though we didn't do a, last week, didn't really talk about week 11. Let's go back and talk about it. Did you have any games that you kind of want to highlight? I know you're a Commanders fan. I know it was Thursday night football. Um, this was my first game my son actually got to watch. Well, he wasn't really watching. I was holding him while I was watching. But yeah, man. So the Commanders Eagles game, it was a good game. Any thoughts besides? I mean, obviously you're hurting from that one.
Mm, it was. It was a tough watch, but it was nice. It was nice to see the defense come out, and they came out and they were setting the tone early on. And, getting after Jalen, getting him rattled. He kind of at some points looked like he might have been concussed throughout the game, and I honestly think he finished that game concussed a little bit. But the defense was doing their job, man. Eagles are missing field goals. It just bad week for the offense. I don't know if Daniels' rib is still bothering him, but he kind of seemed a little off throwing the ball. The play calls weren't there, but it was there's some positives to take away to see that like we have been with good teams, we've been competing. But nice to see that if you make Jalen Hurts one dimensional and you kind of keep him from using his legs and keep Barkley running, he's not really the best passer from what I saw during that game. So a
Yeah.
couple bright spots, but tough watch
They
in
started
the
off
end.
hot though. I mean, they were the first ones to get a touchdown on the board,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, that was the first touchdown all the way to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Um, so that definitely some highlights you can take away. Yeah, Eagles just putting up 20 in the fourth. That was the downfall, the fourth quarter.
Very
Um,
tough.
but a division game always going to be a tough. But Commanders still watching them. Like you said, the highlight was really the defense coming alive. So now going forward into Week 12, I think they're going to be able to handle business against them cowgirls. But we'll talk
That's
about
yeah.
we'll talk about the Week 12 matchup in a little bit. Let's keep highlight in Week 11. The Packers Bears. Did you think he was going to make that kick? I can't believe it. The Packers got that block.
Mm.
There's been so many blocks as of this season.
Kickers have been
Yeah,
off, real off.
really bad. Like Justin Tucker's missed. I don't know how many,
Dude.
but he's not even. He's like the guy like you can usually like reliable. Anyone who
Yep.
comes up as a kicker, especially someone like Justin Tucker, you're like, all right, that's going in. But not as
Hmm.
of recent. There's no. I don't think there's any safe kickers out there right now.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, there are some that have been a lot more consistent than others, but as a whole, the kicking's on, trending downwards right now is not seemingly as reliable. And it's funny because the NFL released a thing, earlier this season talking about they wanted to shrink the width of the goalpost because of how
Oh no.
accurate kickers have been. Like, oh my god.
you think you think they're just missing on purpose so they don't that rule doesn't come
Oh my
uh
god.
come true?
Hon- Honestly, I love conspiracy theories. I'd be for it. Fuck it. They're all just like, screw it. We're missing field goals. But yeah, Justin Tucker, especially, very, very shocking. Ironically, it's ever since that incident in the AFC, uh, was it championship game or whichever playoff game against the Chiefs, or that whole debacle where he was warming up.
Yep.
Ever
Oh
since
yeah,
that
they were messing
incident,
with them.
if you're one for superstition, he's been very inaccurate since that whole thing happened. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
kind of interesting.
the Dolphins got their win. I mean, they didn't, whatever. They beat the Raiders, but
Yeah, man.
looking forward to the Ravens Steelers game. That was a
Yeah.
game that very low scoring game. Talking
Mm.
about kickers, that's kind of all it was.
Chris
Um,
Boswell.
and yeah, Boswell and Tucker. I mean, and the thing is, Tucker missed. So like, if he would have hit his couple
They would have
field
won.
goals he missed, yeah, the Ravens would have
Just,
had
just
that game.
I saw one. I think it was like towards the be. I think it was around like, or no, it was like midway through the game. Um, excuse me. And I saw him shank one. I think it was like wide left, and it was, dude. It was one that he typically makes too, and it's just kind of like, even when I was with my family, and they were just all like, "Did he just miss that?" And it was just like everyone was just shocked because he,
I
Justin
think
Tucker.
I
He's
know
a
which one you were
household name.
talking about too, because I was watching it. I was just sitting there like,
I
that was not even far. Like,
no,
what's going on?
no, it was odd. That was very odd to see. And like, yeah, my dad was shocked, and me and him have watched him make some crazy field goals over the years. So
Yeah, yeah. He's something's going on with him. But the Ravens and like the Steelers, I knew that game was going to be a low scoring game, which it was.
yeah,
But I did not think the Steelers were going to come out on top of that game. But Steelers are looking pretty good right now. I mean, if you're able to hold the Ravens to 16
mm-hmm.
points, dude,
Mm-hmm.
that team, that defense is
I mean,
really tough.
you think about who their biggest competitor is in their division, and that's the Ravens. So how do you build your team? You build it to stop Lamar Jackson,
Yep.
and they are really built that way to stop Lamar Jackson, and then you can pretty much stop any other offense at that point because not every single quarterback in the league is a scrambler, even though they do run more often. But you can contain the run game and force teams to pass more, and they got the pass rush to get after guys within a couple seconds. So they're a real contender this year. It's looking like.
Another good defense that just absolutely blew out a team was the Broncos. Broncos handled business
Mm-hmm.
38-6 against the Falcons. The Falcons are one of those teams that you can't like. They're just a 50-50 on if they're going to show up or not, because I mean they're you look at their team on paper and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you got Bijan, you got Drake London, you have all these weapons, Kyle Pitts, but
Added pieces
they
on defense.
they still can't do anything. They had two field goals the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And now not to discredit the Broncos defense, they're really good. But even the Falcons defense is supposed to be decent. They
Yeah.
added pieces to their defense, Simmons, and yeah, it's just non-existent. Even Bo Nix looked great, had 4 touchdowns. So yeah, I don't know. Broncos making a little run, but um, another division game was the Seahawks 49ers. And that game was a close one.
Oh
Seahawks was
yeah.
able to squeak that one out in the last. Man, I was pissed because I had money on the 49ers just winning by a certain amount of points.
Like a couple
And
points, probably. Like
yep,
2.5.
like it was like 2.5. I just need the 49ers just to close out, and they let who was it who ran it in? It was Gino, right?
Gino, yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I
scrambled. Man,
give that man some credit. Holy cow, coming through when they need it.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
he basically shut the whole 49ers stadium up and
mm-hmm.
just sent them all back home um, to their couches, because that was unreal. I can't believe the 49ers. I mean, Seahawks too. They're both 5-5. I
Yeah.
really thought the 49ers, even though like I know they're all banged up right now. I mean, but you got McCaffrey back. Like, I mean, what else can you ask for? I mean, usually you don't even think the 49ers are gonna struggle, and they sure as hell did. Seahawks gave them a
Yeah.
decent game.
I mean, them losing Ayuk. I mean, it definitely hurts their offense a little bit. I feel like, but at the same time, like Jennings has looked great playing for them. Honestly, he's put up some solid games since Ayuk has gone down, or even when Debo was down. I mean, George Kittle's banged up a lot though too.
Yep.
But I wonder, like, if McCaffrey was healthier earlier in the season, would their record be better than what it is now?
Yeah, I'd probably
stuff
think
like that.
so, but I mean, right now, just seeing that loss, I don't know, dude. They definitely need to
Something's
get
off with their
something going.
defense.
If they want to make playoffs and they want to make a run in the playoffs, they better get that chemistry going again.
Mhm.
Another couple games that I'd like to talk about before we go into this week's is the Chiefs Bills. Now we discussed this a little bit before, um, the podcast, and the Chiefs got their first loss, and
Mhm.
we all kind of saw it coming against the Bills. The Bills are now still undefeated at home, but they took down the Chiefs, and like you said, they usually do that in the regular season, but will they be able to do that in the playoffs? I don't know. What's your thoughts on that game?
I thought it was a really good game. Josh Allen was looking pretty solid for the most part. I mean, passing wise, he looking like Josh Allen, but
Yeah.
his legs definitely getting the job done. Their defense looked solid, but I don't know. I mean, this season seems different. Like, yeah, the Chiefs were undefeated going into this game, but I don't know. I don't. A lot of it was help from the refs, in my opinion, too. But I think come playoff times, I think a lot of the games will be toss ups. Personally,
Well,
um,
all their games have been toss ups, like during the regular season. Like you
mm-hmm.
said, the refs have been helping them on some games, but they've been just squeaking by. They've been just doing
Weekend.
enough to
Yep.
get the win and move on. They're not really trying to either crush teams, or they haven't been crushing teams. I mean, I don't know if they're not trying to, but they're not. And I mean, they tried to make a little comeback in that
Mm-hmm.
last game against the Bills, but like you said, Josh Allen was able to get it done. So yeah, man, that Bills squad's pretty tough this year, and Shakir is the guy I would like to highlight from that.
Yeah.
From the Bills now, he's starting to shine for being a receiver. Everyone was wondering who's the guy that's going to take over Diggs' spot,
Mm-hmm.
and it definitely Shakir has been that guy. I think.
I think it helps that was his second year in the
Hmm.
system too. I mean, Curtis Samuel honestly didn't look bad either. Amari Cooper, he had that nice catch in the first quarter,
Yep.
but besides that, yeah, I mean, and Dawson Knox, I mean, he gets his little numbers too. But yeah, I mean, they rely a lot on running the ball too as well. And Josh Allen, I mean, he can get
And
chunk
yeah,
plays
using
with his
Josh Allen's
legs
legs.
and
Yep.
carry the team. But personally, I don't know, between these two teams, man, I think it depends on who has the home field, in my opinion. So like if they match up again in the playoffs, I think it comes down to who has the home field
Yeah.
advantage for these two, personally,
Yeah,
because
Arrowhead would be pretty tough to play in.
fuck, that place is so loud, it's insane.
Um, and I don't really care about talk about the Monday night, but the Sunday night game was the Bengals Chargers. Now
Mm.
that game was a close one, and it wasn't off at the first half. First half, the Chargers were up 24-6, and ended up being 34-27 at the end of the game, and that was because the Chargers won last minute touchdown. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was an unreal game. Burrow just, man, he's killing it. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, he's not making the right decisions in clutch time. And I know you can look at the stats. He threw 356 yards, 3 touchdowns, but toward the end of that game, in key moments, he just did not make the right
And
play. Like, there was a
yeah,
couple people who were open and everything, and he's going for the check down rather than the guy who was just waving his hand. I think Jamar Chase would have had another touchdown if he would have saw him. And yeah, just missing those key passes and those key plays.
mm-hmm.
Even though he has been doing well, but you had to be perfect after going down 24-6 at halftime,
Yeah,
and he didn't play perfect.
it doesn't help. I mean, they have one of probably the worst defenses in the league, and this
Yep.
guy's having a MVP caliber season,
Yeah,
which
it
sucks
sucks.
for him. Like he's doing, I mean, like you said, he's in clutch time, yeah, but at the same time, it's like not every game he should have to be in a position where he's having to go down the field for a
Right.
game-winning drive. He should have a better team around, which is crazy to think because a year ago and even 2 years ago, he had a really good defense behind him. So it's like, I don't know how that just went away so fast. I mean, it sucks to see because you know he's a very talented quarterback. Yeah, but
Well, usually it's like always has like a receiver that's hurt or something. Like
mhm,
Higgins usually is down or something, but now he's got them
he's got
both. It's
both.
like, man, you have to make it work. And Chase Brown has been pretty damn good
Yeah,
for filling that role for Joe Mixon. So
yeah,
I
and
mean,
he's
I think
having a good year in Texas.
that team is just better than what their record shows,
Mhm.
and it's just tough that they just can't get the job done.
Yeah,
And that last game was one of those games where they needed to win to even like make something
have
happen.
a chance. Yeah,
To have a shot at the playoffs. Now it's going to be very, very tough. Um, and yeah, but anyway, we're going into week 12. This is where we're at now. If you have any games you want to talk about, we'll bring up the first thing. The first game, I guess, would be Thursday night football. We'll briefly because I think this game's going to be a blowout. Um, the Steelers are favored only by 3.5. I guess it's because they're in Cleveland and it's the division game, so I guess it might be a little bit more back and forth. But I don't know, man. The Steelers have looked really good and it's saying it's supposed to be rainy and cold, so they're
uh,
probably going to keep it on the ground. And the Steelers, their defense is so good right now that where I think the Browns are going to be in trouble.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how they're only 3.5. I mean, given that they are on the road, but with the way the Browns have looked the last couple weeks, they don't look good at all. And you thought that one game where Jameis came in and he looked good, you're like, oh, maybe this Browns team might, start trending in a better direction.
Yeah.
But nope, that was a
Nope,
complete
they're two
opposite.
and eight. They've won one game at home. The Steelers have only lost one game on the road. I mean, they're completely flipped from one another. Steelers are that team that's thriving right now, and the Browns, they just can't buy a win. So I think it's gonna be a boring game, but I'm gonna bet on it. I'm gonna be betting on the Steelers hard. So
Of course you will.
tomorrow,
I don't,
just know if the Browns somehow upset the Steelers, I'm gonna have to be depositing more in my DraftKings account.
I don't expect any less from you.
It'll be a sad, sad day. It'll be a sad day if that
Oh
happens.
God! Just picture you walking in the rain with no umbrella, nothing, just blown a count if that happens.
I'm like, guys, I'm gonna take a break.
I'll see you guys in the
Another,
playoffs.
I wish Waterboy was here because his team is facing my team, the
Yep.
Chiefs, going up against the Panthers,
Yep.
and I'm not happy about it. The only good part about this is it's not in Arrowhead, and thank God because it'd
True.
be even more of a blowout. But the Chiefs are favored 10.5 points.
Not surprising.
And yeah, I don't think it's going to be good at all.
And
I
they're
think,
coming off of a loss.
Hubbard's been looking good, but now he has a tough defense, a run stop defense that
Mhm.
I don't think they're going to give him anything. So maybe he can slip one out and break one out, but man, I'm going to be very sad watching that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch Red Zone.
Yeah.
Because I probably won't see the Panthers if that happens. Just only Chiefs probably.
You never know. I mean, yeah, you want to say it's going to be a blowout. Chiefs are going to walk away with it. Hey, man, but any given Sunday, I mean,
Yeah.
like this has been a weird season with some crazy games. And yeah, it was against the Giants, but I mean, the Panthers put up a good game. I mean, it
Well,
seemed.
and earlier to my point, the Chiefs have been squeaking out wins. It's not like
Yeah.
they're blowing out teams.
Nope.
It's just I feel like if they're going to blow up a team, it's gonna be
This one, yeah. This is
Yeah.
going to be their get right game after a loss and get back on track.
See, and
but-
that sucks, man. It's right after just Josh Allen beating them. They're pissed.
Mhm.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't. Yeah, so maybe tune in for the first quarter, see how it
Yeah,
goes.
I'll watch the first quarter, maybe the first half if it's going okay, but not going. Is there any game you kind of want to highlight for this upcoming week though?
In particular, let's see. Got a couple decent. Well, obviously, I mean, that's two really good matchups. You got the 49ers Packers.
Yeah,
There's playoff implications there, and then Ravens Chargers. With the way the Chargers have been looking, I mean, solid defense. Ravens coming off a
Yeah,
tough loss
they're in
Monday night.
L.A.
Yeah, in LA. So that's a. And then 49ers are traveling to Wisconsin, which has a
Mm-hmm.
chance to be a shitty weather game. It's November in Wisconsin. You never know with that place. Obviously, I'll highlight my boys' division game against the Cowgirls. So, those are kind of the three games I'm looking at this week, really.
We'll talk
Seahawks
about that one.
Cardinals, too, because that has first place, I think, first
Yeah,
place competition for
for
them
their
there.
division.
Yep.
Yep.
Or yeah, that would make it a tie for first place. They'd both be 6-5 if the Seahawks win.
Yep, and say 49ers would have to beat the Packers too, so that's why that game's really big too.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course the Cardinals, Seahawks, and Rams, they really want the 49ers to lose that.
Yeah,
Because the Rams got a tough matchup too on Sunday night. They're going up against the Eagles.
they
Um,
do.
so that whole division is just fighting for that number one spot right now. Who currently the
Yeah.
Cardinals somehow are first in their division. So, if you would ask me at the beginning of the season, out of all those teams, that's the last team I would have picked to be first in that division. So, hats off to them. They're somehow getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
James Conner's looking good. Kyler's not bad in moments. He's really hit or miss. It just depends when I guess I guess if as long as it's not double XP weekend on Call of Duty, he's doing all right. So yeah, he's been doing okay so far. I don't know. Maybe he switched to zombies or something.
Maybe, yeah. Don't have to
But
grind as hard.
we'll go back to another 10.5 point. Well, I guess it's 10. Is that Commanders Cowboys game? What's your thoughts on that? Because it is a division game. It just an outsider looking in. If I'm looking at that game, I'm going to say like the Commanders are going to absolutely kill the Cowboys. We saw what the Cowboys did their last game. It wasn't much. They got walked. So I think the Commanders are going to be coming back with vengeance after losing to the Eagles on Thursday. They had that long break, and I think they're going to be ready. Home game. They're 4-1 at home. They're playing against Cooper Rush. Dak's out, so
Mm-hmm.
I mean, outside looking in, I think it's going to be a smack. But since you're a Commanders fan and you're like, it is a division game, still
That's
think that way, or
that's exactly my thinking. Because I mean, I don't try to just be like, oh, we're gonna just absolutely kill this team just because of this situation that they're in, because it's a division game. Everyone brings the intensity more for division games, and Micah Parsons is back. CeeDee Lamb's still trying to fight through his shoulder problems, whatever he's got going on. They're banged up as hell. But yeah, us coming off that tough Thursday night win when we know we had the Eagles on their heels and a chance to close out the game, but weren't able to get it done. We got 10 days of rest. I mean, and it's a home game. I think we're gonna come out and be ready. We should win by like 2 touchdowns personally, but I don't want to just say that's like the definitive thing that's gonna happen. But I hope the one thing I really want to see is I want to see Jaden look sharp. I want to see him command the offense the way he should. I want to see the run game get going again, and hopefully that rib is not much of an issue anymore. Because I thought it wasn't the Eagles game until a couple bad passes, but I
is he
think it should be a
questionable
good
right now?
game though. No, he's not questionable, but like some
It's
of the
lingering.
throws
Yeah.
during that Eagles game, you got questions whether like is he actually healed or not. So
Yeah. I think this is the Cowboys knocking on the Commanders Stadium right now.
Open the door. Open the door.
Try to get in the stadium to have some warm ups. Like you said, if you have CD Lamb who's hurt, I mean Dak's out. I just think the Commanders defense is showing up decent, and now if they show up like that against Dallas, I don't think you have to worry.
no,
Now,
we
covering
should.
the spread might be a different story. I do think they will win by a touchdown though, but who knows? Division games any given Sunday, right?
Yeah, always, every single Sunday.
I'm trying to look for other games, really. Like you said, the 49ers Packers, I think that's a good one to highlight, too. The 49ers, like we said in this, going back over the last week, 49ers have not been the team that we thought they've been.
Mhm.
Uh, it, it's crazy looking at their record and seeing what they did because I feel like they've been playing okay. Like, George Kittle was having a hell of a season, I thought. It's just they're not getting the win somehow. Purdy
No,
doesn't look too well. I mean, he's got 8 interceptions. He's got 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So, but the Packers, they just barely beat the Bears though. I don't know. This is a tough one. I think I'm gonna stay away from it when it comes to a betting
I
perspective. But
if I'm
man,
you, don't touch this game, bro.
yeah, I completely agree, man. If anything, I said maybe go total, and I'd maybe bet the under because it's at 47 and
Yeah,
a half. But I don't know, man. I think I'm not going to touch that at all. But 49ers, I mean, McCaffrey, I don't know if they're, he had 19 carries in that last game. I don't know if he's fully back or is he limited now still, or is he
I think he's
good?
fine, but
I
so
think he's good
I'm
too.
looking at some stuff right now saying that Brock Purdy was limited today.
See, and if
He's got
he's
shoulder soreness, and then Bosa battles injuries to his hip and oblique on both sides, and I think Trent Williams was also sitting too. So
it's a
yeah,
big game. It's a big game
yeah.
because the pack not just I mean the Packers have a good record. They're 7-3,
Mm-hmm.
but in that same division, the Vikings are 8-2. So the Vikings are leading that division right now, and
Well,
the
no,
Packers
no,
are
no,
knocking
no.
on the door.
Detroit's leading.
Oh, that's right, Detroit. I forgot about it's because they who are they playing this week?
Detroit, they're
Oh, the
playing
Colts.
the Colts.
Yeah, 9-1. So that's another division that is just basically playing for that lead. I think the
Yep.
Lions have it, but I don't know. The Vikings get to face the Bears this week, so that could be a win. Looking ahead. I don't see the Lions losing to the Colts, but you
No.
never know. And then of course the Packers. I mean that they're in Lambeau though, so they're favored, but not by much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to keep an eye on that. After the way the Ravens and the Chargers played this past week, I'm definitely looking at that Monday night game because if the Ravens lose this one, I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like. I mean, let me look ahead. They got Eagles next week, and the week after
Mm.
that, they have, I think, a bye. And then Giants, they'll probably finish out Steelers again.
Speaking of
Yeah, I don't
buys,
know, man.
speaking of buy, all right. So I don't know if you're hurt with fantasy football buys, but this is the week to be hurt on right now. There is
12.
6 teams right now on buys:
Oof.
Falcons,
6.
Bills, Bengals, Saints, Jets, and Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad week.
So on one of my leagues, I have my full bench. I mean, it's like the Backstreet Boys. Bye, bye, bye. It's literally all the way down the list. I have, and it's crazy because I can't. I had to drop some people just
Mhm.
to make a starting lineup, and I have a decent team, and I needed to have an actual starting lineup. So I had to drop a player I didn't really want to. I think I dropped Darnell Mooney because he was on a bye, but um, I don't know. It is what it is. But geez, I've seen other teams that are hurting really, really, really bad this week because of their buys. Are you hurt in fantasy right now because of buys?
No, my team just sucks. That's all.
Well, last time we had you on the
My whole
podcast,
roster.
you were doing well.
Yeah, I was. I started the season off 5-0. I'm on a 6-game losing streak, dude.
Oh no, the
My
6 game losing streak.
dude. I got McCaffrey back way too late in the season, bro.
Yeah, I got him back in the UCFL, which is who's in our league right now with Waterboy and J Bunk is the UCFL, and getting McCaffrey, I was happy back, but yeah, like you said, it's like, man, I really wish I would have had him earlier in the season, just so I wouldn't be having to fight for playoffs as hard. Because I'm in like that 70 percentile. Like, hey, you might make playoffs, you might not.
Yeah, I'm like, if I win the next 3 weeks, I think I can get in. But like another thing that hurt me is I lost Mike Evans when he went on the IR.
Yep.
Aaron Jones has been not that great this year, and then like
and he's kind of banged up recently, right?
Yeah, he's been kind of banged up, but like his production is, I don't know, he hasn't been as productive as I thought he'd be in this Vikings offense, which they usually ran the ball pretty well, and Marvin Harrison hasn't been the greatest, and then Javonte Williams has pissed me off because there will be weeks when I bench him and he'll want to pop off that week, and then the week I put him in the lineup against a good matchup, he doesn't do well.
That's usually what. See, that's the thing is,
so
you never know, man. It's so tough, and definitely. You can't go by projections ever because
no.
Which I somehow made a good management call this past week. I was playing Bunk in one of my other leagues, and I just felt wrong playing Mooney. I was like, no, I'm not gonna play Mooney. Instead, I played I think it was Shakir, and Shakir had a decent game, but I had Taysom Hill as well, who popped off. He's the one that really won me that game, but. Man, I think if I wouldn't have had Shakir and I would have played Mooney, it would have been a different story. I think Bunk would be on here talking shit. but I was able to get that one done. But yeah, I mean, it's just these bye weeks, man. I think it's just like this week, I think last week, and maybe this upcoming week is where these buys are just coming in and hurting everybody. And this is the time where it's crunch time. You can't really afford to be having a guy out, so it might be forcing you to make a trade. It might be forcing you to get someone off the waivers who you really didn't want to drop somebody. Like I said, in my instance, I was dropping Darnell Mooney. You didn't want to drop him, but in that case, I needed a quarterback. I had to go get one. So, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of big time decisions from fantasy managers. Do you have any questions or concerns for this week in your fantasy matchup?
I don't even know anymore, bro. I'm like partially checked out.
Checked out?
Like, no, not really. Like, I'm just partially checked out. But like, I'm kind of kicking myself because in hindsight, when I got offered that trade I told you about, where he wanted Mike Evans and he was gonna give me Cortland Sutton and Tank Bigsby. Fucking Cortland Sutton started popping off literally that same week, and Mike Evans is hurt, and I'm just like, bro, I should have just fucking said fuck it and just pulled that
who's
trigger.
Your receivers right now? You got Jaden Reed, right? So you got Jaden Reed.
So I got Jaden Reed, Marvin Harrison Jr., Cedric Tillman, and Jalen Waddle. And those are all my wide receivers.
Waddle has been such a letdown this year.
Fucking
I got him too. It's hard to even like. I'm starting him this week. I have to. So
yeah.
Oh man, it's either. Yeah, I got him this week. I'm not happy with my receivers because of the buys. Because Drake London's on a buy, but it's either I got to start Waddle, Ridley. I got Devonta Smith questionable, and then I got Xavier Worthy.
I mean, I will say my lineup looks pretty solid right now. On paper, looks pretty solid, but we don't know until the games be played.
And it's always those games that are on paper, those teams that for some reason just aren't doing good. That's the same thing in our league. We look at teams that should be winning all the games because they have all these studs and they just don't perform every week, and it just backfires. It's like, how's this team not even in the playoff running right now? It's ridiculous. But going back to a little bit of this upcoming week, did you want to touch up on any other games?
Not particularly. I mean, besides the few that we talked about, I mean, there's really not other really good matchups. I mean, Eagles-Rams, I will say, has potential to be a trap game for the Eagles. I mean, like, the Eagles are good. They're first place, whatever. They got a top 10 offense and defense. But when Stafford has both his weapons of Cup
And they're at home, Rams.
Nakua, and they're at home. I mean, don't sleep on the Rams to make a surprise upset this game. So, and it's a Sunday night game, so I definitely gonna be peeking in on that one as long as I don't fall asleep early. So,
I do think Saquon's gonna have a good game.
he probably will. Yeah.
But other than that, like I mean, the Rams they've been stepping up, and like you said, when Stafford has both Nakua and Cup, like that's dangerous. And then obviously
so dangerous.
they have other threats too, like Demarcus
Kyrie,
Robinson's been that guy who's just scoring touchdowns for them, unreal. And yeah, of course, their running back Kyron Williams. He's their guy. So Kyron going up against Saquon, that should be a good Sunday night football.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And yeah, just because of the record, 8-2 Eagles playing the 5-5 Rams. Well, they haven't been healthy the whole season for the Rams, so I think this is pretty damn even. And that's what the books have it. I mean, they have the Eagles at -3, which is I would say not a bad line. But if anything, I just bet Rams money line.
Yeah, I honestly would be leaning towards a Rams.
The only thing that kind of gets me like maybe not though is just because the Eagles are 4-1 on the road, so they have been playing good on the road. But I don't know, man. That one's gonna have to be one of those wait and see on Sunday night to bet on. But obviously, we have to lock in our picks on our pick 'em by tomorrow. So
yeah, I
make
know.
a decision by then.
I haven't been doing too well with those yet.
Me neither.
Recently,
I just want to win 1 week so I get my money back.
Yes, that would be so nice. Jesus.
Oh man. Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we pretty much covered most of it. I mean, nothing too crazy this week. So
No. But good luck in your fantasy matchups. Hopefully, we can win these next 3 weeks so we can sneak into the playoffs. I'm trying to make a little bit of money.
Appreciate it, man. You too, dude.
All right. Well, that's it for the Laces Out podcast, week 12, and we'll see you guys in week 13. We'll see you later.
Yes, sir.